We all have good days, bad days, and days when we're not so sure. No matter what kind of day you're having, take MindNation with you so that good days become great, bad days become better, and so-so days become super. Get the care you need by connecting with experts in as fast as 2 minutes. Grow in your mental health journey through specialized programs just for you. Learn more about yourself and how to thrive so that every day is closer to a better mind, better you. Download the MindNation app now. Available on Google Play and the App Store.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday night. It's the last Wednesday night again, and I'm welcoming you guys to the BDJ studio and Mind Nation. Better Mind, Better You. So every end of the month, nag-check in tayo sa isa't isa. We're checking in with you guys to see how are you guys for the past month, diba? We've been doing this since the pandemic, and we're continuing on this 2022. And can you imagine, end na ng August. So, ano ba yung joke, 'di ba? Ano bang joke sa September? Lalabas na si Jose Marichan. Excited na ba kayo? Lalabas na siya tomorrow, September 1. So, for everyone watching us today, please do write in the comment section, like say hi so we can greet you if you're watching us tonight, and please do share where you're watching us from. So, I will bring in my partner for tonight. It's not Kat because Kat is unfortunately sick with COVID, and but I will bring you. This is a good friend of mine also from like many years ago. We've worked together, and now she's with Mind Nation, and I'm so excited to bring her over. And it's Jack Tutanko Chua. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Dar. Good
Good
evening. Long time no
evening.
see. Dito pa talaga tayo nagkita.
Oo nga, dito pa talaga. Exactly.
Oo.
So parang so kamusta ka, Jack? How are you?
I'm
How have
good.
you
I'm
been?
good. Alam mo, it's so funny. When I first saw you, the first thing I thought of is, wow, your hair matches my blouse, di ba? So it's really meant to be na tayong dalawa ngayong gabi. And then, do I wish you Merry Christmas? Kasi September 1 na bukas.
Bukas in less
Oh,
than a
di
few,
ba?
ilang hours na lang.
Oo. But I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Ikaw, kumusta?
I'm good. I just actually have other than physically, I do have a headache. I've been nursing a headache the whole day today. Medyo
Mm.
masama yung migraine, but I'm really happy to be able to do this tonight out of commitment to our community. Of course,
Of course.
also to parang each other, 'di ba? Kasi it's very important that parang nakita natin sa bagong video ng My Nation earlier that there will be so days, there will be good days, there will be bad days, and
Mm-mm.
parang it's not a reason to show up in the world, right? It's not a reason to
Yes.
I guess, face whatever we need to face, diba?
Yep,
But at the
yep.
same time, parang we balance it by taking care of ourselves. So, ayan, meron na tayo
Oo.
sina Nol. Nagsisave. So, hello,
Hi,
Nol.
hi guys. What
Ayan.
you were saying, I'm reminded, no, kasi I give webinars for our partner clients, and minsan yung check-in question ko is, if you could describe your life as an amusement park ride, what would it be? So people were saying roller coaster, meron pa nga haunted house, mga ganun. But my favorite metaphor for my life would really be a Ferris wheel, because some days you feel high, you feel great. Other days you feel so down. But
Mm-hmm.
life goes on. Ganun talaga. Some days you're feeling up, some days you're feeling down, but you just go through with it, you flow with it, and you just try to do the best that you can wherever you are, whether you're up or down, diba? And this could
Correct.
be one of those days for you, for me. I have also been having a tough time at work. Ang daming ganap. As you can see, we launched our app recently. So Kat is sick, so we're down one person. So get well soon, Kat, if you're watching. And yeah, but that's life, di ba?
Yes, yes, yes. So, napaka-important yan. So, I think if anyone, I mean, there's a lot of viewers already watching us right now. Please just chat with us. We want to get to know you guys, or like check in with you. How are you feeling today? And maganda yung question na tinanong ni Jack, no? If your if your life was an amusement park ride, what
Yeah.
would that be? Oo nga.
Yes, let us know. So ako, Ferris wheel. Ikaw, Dar.
Ferris wheel. I think I like also the Ferris wheel kasi parang hindi naman I don't like the roller coaster.
Oo, ako rin, ako rin.
Ayoko ng roller coaster. Pero nakakatawa
Oo.
naman yung may nag-comment na haunted house.
Meron. Pero pag sinasabi
Natatawa.
nila haunted house, ang sinasagot ko,
Natatawa.
okay, yes, diba? At the start, you're very scared. It's very dark, but there's a light at the end of the
End of
proverbial
the tunnel.
tunnel. And then you laugh about it afterwards. So sana we also face problems or challenges that way, di ba? Na there's
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
always naman a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's something you can learn from, something you can laugh about down the line, hopefully. Oo.
Alam ko na
Nakakatawa
yung
yung ibang
ride
mga
ko.
sagot. Ano?
Favorite ko din to. Log ride.
Oo,
Gusto ko yung mga log
nababasa.
ride. Oo, yung nababasa.
Oo, very apt for our weather lately,
Yeah.
'di ba?
Ayun,
Literally
yun.
mababasa ka, oo.
Mababasa ka. Tapos, di ba, parang
Yeah.
may mga may mga drops din, right? But there's like, parang in generally, parang you go around, there's steadiness to it.
Yes.
You like
Mm.
it. So I think that's my description.
Yes.
So
Oo.
tonight, our theme for tonight, for the August Mind Nation, is mind, body, and sports. So, do you want to like share like what are your thoughts about our topic for tonight,
Oo,
Jack?
kasi this August, our emphasis really is on physical health. That physical health and mental health are connected. You can't have one without the other. And who better epitomizes physical health than athletes, di ba? So we were
Mm-hmm.
really very lucky to partner with Filbasket, a basketball league that is really making it a point to prioritize athlete mental health. And we're excited to have them here along with a sports psychologist to talk about athlete mental health, physical health, male mental health, so many things we can talk
Yeah,
about tonight talaga.
correct,
So,
correct. Oo.
very excited for tonight's conversation.
Sobrang natuwa ako with this topic kasi just recently, like yung Sunday, I joined like parang the get together, the first time the get together of Project Standstill, Project Steady, sorry. Standstill Steady. Same words in my head. Project Steady by Gang Badoy. So they were taking care of the mental health of our athletes, especially during the pandemic. Kasi yung nangyari
Mm.
nung pandemic, 2020, it was actually the Olympic year.
Yes.
So imagine what happened, like parang some of our athletes were parang in different countries already. They're ready to play and then suddenly postponed.
Oo,
Diba?
oo.
So where can you imagine you've been working so hard for this for several years and this is your moment and then suddenly your moment was parang
Taken away.
Taken
Or
away, yeah.
naudlot, yeah. I
Naudlot,
can relate
naudlot.
to that, Dar. I'm not an athlete, no, but pre-pandemic, my children, my three kids were in the swimming team of their school. Tapos, merong mga older students, mga up and coming, nagko-compete sa mga palarong pambansa, meron mga
Correct,
shoe-in
correct,
na yata for the SEA Games and all that. Nung naudlot yung, syempre, nung nag-pandemic, tumigil ang training. So I cannot
correct,
help but feel for these students na mga iba may athletic scholarships to universities, mga iba papunta na sa universities or yun nga
correct.
pa-compete. Parang nakakapanghinayang and I cannot imagine what that has done really to their mental health, yung mga aspirations nila. I hope they're doing okay. Lalo na
Mm-hmm.
ngayon medyo nagre-revive na ulit yung sports sa
Correct,
country
correct,
natin. So sana okay na talaga sila.
correct. And actually, the reason I went with them was because we published a book with them. It's called Winning Still. So it captured the moments, the essays of our athletes and coaches, and we also had a sports psychologist also who wrote the book, like who wrote essays. And what's very interesting, Jack, sa akin, sobrang na-appreciate ko. Siyempre, I'm very honored to be there. Like, of course, our most famous Olympian, Heidelin Diaz, was there, and she's also part of the book. Um, I really appreciated, like, parang, this is my learning takeaway ko sa gabi kasi everybody was sharing, the way we were talking about mind, body, and the connection. So, the athletes would exercise I mean we'll do their routine, their workout and so on to get into their best physical body or what yung kailangan nila makuha. But at the same time, the reason they keep on doing that is to get into this mental state
Mm-mm.
that their mind understands 100% without a doubt that they can win. Na
Mm-mm.
parang
Mm-mm.
their body's just showing their mind every day during practice na kaya ko to, kaya ko to,
Yeah,
kaya ko
yeah,
to.
yeah. You're conditioning
So,
not just the body but also the mind. Yes,
correct, correct.
absolutely.
And
Mm-mm.
of course, with mind, body, there's also heart, right? That parang in terms of your passion, parang
Mm-mm.
ako, I feel like the sacrifices for national athletes, eh. 'Di ba? Parang you're
Yes.
doing this for our country, for the honor. Siyempre, there's really the love of the sport, right? The love
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
sport is there. But there's still something that they really give up just
Yeah.
to bring honor to us.
Oo,
So,
oo, oo. Agree,
and
agree.
so timing to, guys, kasi nilagay ko rin. So to those following me, I wrote this in my social media post honoring the athletes as our unsung heroes for National Heroes Day, which we just celebrated last Monday. So, ayan. So, let's introduce our special guests tonight. Our first guest for tonight is Kenneth Roy Aranas, who obtained his undergraduate and graduate degree in psychology in the University of Santo Tomas, and he currently teaches social science to senior high school students at Colegio de San Juan de Letran and is a member of the board of directors of the Youth for Mental Health Coalition. So let's bring Ken. Ken, welcome.
Hello, hello. Hi, Dar. Hi, Jack. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
And
Ken.
good evening, Ken. How are you?
I am tired like everyone else.
Oh,
Kakagaling ko lang sa work. And of course, going back to face classes is a bit of a challenge for everyone, not just us, but for the students as well. Naninibago din sila na, "Uy, parang I'm back in school." Ganun.
Oo, correct,
but
correct.
but Ken, do you admit, I mean, not naman admit, but which is better for you, virtual teaching or face-to-face teaching?
I'll be very honest. I do admit that I have missed the face to face interactions. But of course, the convenience of teaching online is something that I will dearly miss.
Mm-mm.
Before we move forward with Jai, let me introduce, sorry, with Kenny. Let me introduce our second guest tonight, who is Jai Reyes, a former basketball player of the Ateneo Blue Eaglets and the Ateneo Blue Eagles, where he was also named Rookie of the Year by the UAAP in 2005. He went on to play professionally both here and abroad and was even the head of the basketball operations for Nueva Ecija Rice Vanguard. under the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. So recently, he founded the Filbasket in 2021 as a means to provide a platform for basketball players whose careers was disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So let us all welcome Jai Reyes. Hello, Jai.
Yay!
Hi guys.
Hi, Jai.
Thank you
Good
for having me
evening.
here in MindNation.
So,
How are
kumusta?
you? Yes.
Okay lang. I need some mind help from my two kids. They're both very small right now, 3 and 8 months. So
Oh,
they're a headache, but it's the best time also, to be bonding with them, be here in the house. It's a good headache. That's what I mean.
Yeah. 8 months, so nandun ka pa sa ano, sa no sleep.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course. Ano na, sanay
Sa
na
no
talaga.
sleep. Oo. Medyo graduate na ako doon. Nandun na, yung my youngest is 4 years old and my eldest is around 6 years old.
Wow. Pero yung 3, 4-year-old age naman, sobrang likot na because, they want to try out everything,
Yeah.
especially boys.
do they play
Yeah.
basketball also, Jai? Your 4-year-old.
Well, yeah, here, this is court. It's
Yeah,
blurred
may
right now,
potential, may
but
potential.
hopefully. We don't want to force him to do anything. We just want him to have fun right now.
Oo.
Nice.
Iba na
Yeah.
talaga ang
Yeah.
parents ngayon, no? Napansin mo, and I don't know, Ken, if you can agree. Dati, Dar, nung panahon natin, parents natin nagsasabi, ito, you grow up, you should be a ganito, ganito, ganyan. Now, the parents these days, even ako, oh yeah, sige, whatever you want, I will support you, di ba? As long as you're happy, as long as you're not, well, ako syempre ang rule ko, as long as you're not hurting other people, di ba?
Mhm.
Basta mental health mo, okay, sige lang, do what you want. Ganon ka rin ba, Dar?
Yes. Although medyo yun nga eh. Right now, it's really a lot about playing. So I totally agree with Jai. Kasi di ba 4 and 6 years old. So para although they're school already and they just started yesterday yung hybrid setup. So super excited to go to school. So parehas kay Ken na parang it's a bit jarring. And I did also attend an event yesterday. So I was like, I met some people that I saw in Zoom um
Face to
in the
face.
past 2 years. Tapos parang
Oo.
parang ano ka, na parang, wait, in person na siya. Sabi ko, wait, kilala ko to. Tapos parang, just a bit jarring. Parang, I don't know if you guys have felt that.
Baka
Siguro
kaya ka
kung ay,
nagkaka-migraine.
naninibago. Real
Oo,
world.
oo,
Real world.
yeah, oo. Tsaka 'di ba di na tayo sanay sa crowds, sa noise, iba na
Baka.
talaga.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Syempre, all of these things, whenever we see each other in person, we remind everyone that we still need to practice the IATF protocols.
Yes,
So,
yes.
to practice the mask kasi napaka-important pa din na even at the endemic, kailangan nating maging careful. And
Yes.
sana mag-booster shots kayo. Everyone watching. Ayan. So, let's start. Kamusta muna tayo kay Jai? Like, how did you get started with basketball? Was it something you were just naturally good at?
Family thing. Yeah, it's
Oh,
really in the family. All my uncles, my dad. In fact, my uncle is the head coach of the national team right now, Jai Reyes. And
oh,
actually,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, nga, no?
I'd like to give him a shout out. Speaking of mental health and being strong in the mind, that the challenges that he's facing right now. It's tough to be the national head coach for basketball. Maraming ang jokes na mas mataas pa yung standards ng mga Pilipino sa national team ng basketball kaysa sa mga ibang dapat mas importanteng positions.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way he's pulling through right now with everything that people are saying, still focused on the job, not letting anybody distract him, and still seeing the good in what he's doing. I think he's a perfect example right now. So that's how that's how I got into basketball. It's really a family thing. So talagang lahat ng tao sa family namin, bata pa lang ako, basketball na talaga. So inevitably, I ended up playing basketball. My first team was when I was in grade 3 in Ateneo, and then from then on until the pandemic, that's the only time I really stopped playing. that's where my career ended because of the pandemic. But yeah, the things that are coming up right now, the opportunities, it's quite new. I was scared at first. I didn't know what to do, especially our jobs were all of a sudden just taken away from us during the pandemic. But yeah, taking care of the mind is of course the number one thing to do, and you can't really move forward in anything if you don't settle your mind first.
Yes,
Oo.
yes.
Yeah. So, Ken, let me ask you, based on what Jai said, no, gaano ba talaga ka-importante ang athlete mental health? How does it affect performance, overall health, relationships, all of those?
I think that mental health in general has become less of a taboo and more of a tabletop conversation. Parang okay na yung mga tao to bring up the concept of mental health. Specifically pagdating sa mga athletes. I think that in the past we used to have this mindset na syempre kapag athlete ka, it's more on the physicality. Diba? You train your physical body. Pero as athletes, as siguro Jai understands, na there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes na hindi alam ng mga tao kung gaano kahirap talaga mag-training, not just physical training, but to put yourself in the right mindset. So now in the 21st century, with all of the research and all of the practical application of mental health, nakita talaga natin na positive mental health or having good mental health as an athlete or at least supporting good athlete mental health can in fact improve performance, actually put you in the right mindset to face challenges, overcome adversity, and eventually achieve your goals. Now where the intersection of mental health and physical activity comes into play, dito talaga yung sports psychology.
So, ano ba talaga ang ginagawa ng sports psychologist, Ken? Are you the one, ikaw ba yung go-to pag may problema yung athlete? Or may stress siya, kailangan din ng kausap? Ganun ba?
I would say that in most instances, there's usually a particular mental health professional who is a part of the support staff of some teams who can, of course, afford or have the luxury to have a sports psychologist. Pero yung pinaka-job ng sports psychologist is really to help assess where the athletes are, figure out what siguro areas they need to improve on in terms of their mental well-being and their overall mental health, and then create programs that are designed to supplement yung physical training nila, but of course on the mental aspect, no, parang supplementary training din kami.
Very nice. Oo nga eh. Actually, for everyone, for all our fellow athletes, for not fellow pala, for all our Filipino athletes, di ako mag-claim na athlete. Ako Filipino athletes who need a bit of support and parang, I think definitely MindNation is here to help you. There's also the group, as I shared earlier, Project Steady. It's a non-profit organization who helps specifically also the mental health. And ayan, please do connect with Ken Aranas, our sports psychologist for tonight. So I guess another question would be for Jai in terms of like you mentioned earlier that parang the pandemic ended your career. Like, so can you tell us a bit more about it?
Well, parang for a lot of players, well, for all athletes naman talaga, when the pandemic hit, yung mahirap kasi doon, all of a sudden we didn't, it would be okay, it would be better if we had a chance to prepare after ilan months, walang games or anything. But here, right in the middle of the season, we're supposed to play some more games, or the next season is about to approach already, then bigla na lang wala na. So, of course, as athletes, karamihan sa amin, tigil talaga yung trabaho. And, the sad thing about that, the harder thing about that was you're seeing other countries, they're already recovering, sports is back, pero sa atin wala pa rin. So that was very, very, very frustrating on our part. Um, as I said, we're in the middle of the season, or a season is about to come. So we're ready. We're ready physically, mentally, uh, for the coming competitions. We're also planned out of course, this is career already. That this is what we're gonna rely on for the next couple of years. Tapos bigla na lang nawala. So it was really difficult for everybody. A lot of people uh, found ways to start up businesses, um, sell things online, and the athletes help each other. That was a good thing to see, a good sight to see na nagkaroon ng tulungan talaga within the athletes when the pandemic hit. For me, what really popped out was, maybe this is a good time to start a basketball league in Filbasket. So lucky to have met Dino and of course Patrick. I've known him for a long time already. And we shared the same vision. So that's what we did during the pandemic. Instead of for a time just complaining, bakit
Mm-hmm.
ganito, even to the point that my kids were getting affected already because we had to scramble for something to do because it was so uncertain, especially for my career as an athlete. So kahit na pandemic magkakasama kami sa bahay, we had to set our kids aside. And I only had one baby at that time, and then the wrong thing was that we let him play with a lot of gadgets because we needed to look for something during the pandemic, and it was really a tough situation. But then after that, when you realize, when you settled your mind already that nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, nobody's gonna help you, everybody's going through the same things, so you better just start doing something. So I guess the point here really is that it all starts with your mind. You can be physically conditioned, the best athlete in the world, but if your mind doesn't control your body properly, wala rin talaga eh. Na experience ko yun in times of my playing when I'm in a much more level-headed situation. Those were the games that I played better. So yeah, that was the pandemic for me. It was such a short learning period, but I'm also looking back. I'm also very happy that we went through that because you're really gonna find out things about yourself during the pandemic.
Correct,
Mm-mm.
correct. Grabe, that must be, I mean, all of us, as you shared, like, parang went through, like, different journeys during the pandemic. And parang, it's a bit hard, no, na parang gusto na natin mag-blame din ng mundo, gusto na natin mag-blame ng other people for the situation, right? But in the end, it will just boil down to us. Like, so what are we gonna do about it, right? Um,
Exactly. Dar, just to add, no, nung kinakwento ni Jai yung nangyari sa kanya, naalala ko tuloy, whenever we're faced with a crisis, normally it goes two ways. Either we wallow in self-pity or we wallow in depression and anxiety. Or opposite naman nun, toxic positivity tayo. Kung kaya
correct.
nila, kaya ko rin. Or wala yan, kaya ko yan. Without, really addressing the problem. But in the case of Jai, parang meron positive mindsetting na nangyari na you acknowledge what has happened, you spend time acknowledging that this is really bad, I feel bad, this has affected me negatively in so many ways, but you pick yourself up and you do something to turn things around. So
Correct.
yes, you do feel sad, but at the same time, hindi siya toxic positive, but it's healthy positivity in the sense na you learn from it. And I hope, Jai, you agree when you can say that you become better for it, di
Yeah,
ba? Kasi may feel
and
basket ka na ngayon and you're helping so many
yeah,
people.
and I guess not just the pandemic. Looking back, in all the situations, you need that sadness, you need that frustration, that failure. Even my playing days, pag natalo ka, masama yung laro mo, somebody outplayed you. That's when you're gonna get better. Instead of it's always comfortable, you're always winning. But you need those challenges if you really wanna step up.
Yeah. Ayan,
Yeah.
and Ken, maybe you can share with us, like, parang I'm sure you've talked to a lot of parang athletes also who, parang, do they have like a similar experience with Jai?
Actually, I did hear that Jai's story really resonates. Not just with, athletes in general, but I siguro for everyone. No, biglang tumigil lahat nung pandemic. And suddenly we all have to reevaluate, refocus, and then bounce back. Kaya in psychology, of course, among the many characteristics and variables that are important to having good mental health and well-being, na narinig ko kanina, parang we're going in the direction of having resilience, having grit, having motivation, those kinds of things. And I think I in the pandemic, no, I did see kasi I've dealt with a lot of student athletes. I deal mostly kasi with student athletes. My students and others athletes of the like. So parang nakita ko talaga na they really are struggling because of course if the school is not operating, physically, then of course the athletes are not operating physically. Tumigil din yung mundo nila. Of course they have to make some adjustments. As Jai mentioned, maybe they have other things that they have to work on, focusing more on their studies, and of course, the coach plays a big role in that, guiding them in the right direction. Pero syempre, sa ngayon, with everything that's happened, I think we can really summarize those experiences as part of our life. Parang let's not forget that it happened. And tama naman yung sinabi ni Jai, and I really resonate with that also. Now, you really have to accept what happened in the past and you're able to learn from those experiences kahit negative, then I think that's a great way to move forward with everything that comes into play, building resilience, having better grit, having more motivation. A lot of those factors are really brought about by experience. So I think with all of these negative experiences that people may have had over the pandemic, now is a great time to reevaluate and think, where am I in terms of those kinds of levels.
Nice, nice. Thank you, Ken. Oo, no, grabe. Parang, where am I in this pandemic? Where am I? Where am I in terms of my mental state? It's like really a constant question we need to check in with ourselves. And kaya for all our viewers, watchers today, so that's why we're letting you guys know. Please to check in, even just the once a month with us. Because we know how everything gets busy. Daming nangyayari. It's really still part of life, but I hope at least once a month you get to check in with where you are. So, Jai, I'm so curious. How did you find the strength to turn things around? Kasi parang, I'm sure that was, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine. It must be very depressing during that time. Kasi, especially with school, with the school athletes and everything, di ba may age din yan na
Yeah.
factor? So, and kahit nag-stop yung pandemic, hindi naman tayo nag-stop mag-age. Hindi
Mm.
naman nag-stop yung ano natin, yung parang, okay, yung pag sa kids, di ba, parang from grade 12, nakalakad na mag-college, right? So,
Yeah.
I can feel it eh. Yung shinare niya ni Jack eh, di ba, with the swimmers at yung kids niyo, di ba, parang going for the, may susunod na batch eh.
May plan ka na
So,
rin for your life dapat kasi, 'di ba? In 5 years, ganyan
oo.
na ako. Oo.
Tapos the
Yeah.
thing is, yun nga eh, what if you, the year of the pandemic, 2021, that's your championship year, that's your senior year, di ba? Kailangan may hindi ka mag-graduate, mag-stay in ka to, so, suddenly you just parang miss that time and there's no way to be able to get it back. How did you find the strength to turn things around, Guy?
Well, during that point, I was the head of a team for the MPBL. So I had players under me, coaches under me. So everybody was asking, are we still gonna get paid? Is our owner still gonna continue salary? And I was left in a spot wherein I was also a player, and of course, you want to keep on getting your salary, but also being the head of the franchise, you're gonna think about the owners. Why would you pay people that are not doing anything if there are no games?
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite fair na syempre tigil muna talaga yung sweldo. So that was one of the main motivations to start Filbasket, that a lot of people need it. Kung sobrang sikat na yung basketball sa atin, ang daming basketball leagues. Pero magugulat kayo, sobrang mas maraming players na gusto maglaro talaga. So a lot of athletes, aspiring athletes, needed it also. And it was also a perfect time, yun na nga eh. After all the complaining and looking at the pandemic as something negative, all the other tournaments stopped also. Now would be the perfect time. Walang entry eh, kung tuloy-tuloy lang yung current situation eh. So I think when I started to shift my mindset into why not turn this into an opportunity. Until now, a lot of people are calling me crazy for starting my own league, just coming from a player. I mean, walang gumawa talaga. Walang gumagawa nun in the Philippine setting. But we believe in our vision. We believe in what we want to do with Filbasket. We're not trying to compete with the other leagues, the PBA, the MPBL. We're not trying to compete there. And I think our major difference is that we want to complement the current basketball landscape here in the country. So when things became clear, the plan became clear, the vision became clear, um, sabi ko, I'll start it. There's nothing sure about it, but we'll learn along the way. You know, just like in a game, we can prepare all we want, but when the game starts, there are things that we have to adjust to and learn from the experience. So that's what we're doing currently right now. Even our partnership with MindNation, that's something new also. And not a lot of other leagues tournaments do that. So we're very excited. So that's how I found strength in in starting Filbasket. It's really for other people, for the sport that I love, that opens so many opportunities for me. So ako parang it's a time to give back, but it's an opportunity, a business opportunity also. I'm not getting any younger. Like what you said, actually mas mahirap sa level namin eh. Dahil pag na-delay, tulad ng pandemic, kalaban mo age. Then
Correct.
these young
Correct.
guys are coming in already. So kung plano mo 3 more years to play dahil sa pandemic, one na lang or baka nasira na dahil you can't train. How can
Mm.
you keep in shape? Automatically, lugi ka na kung mas matanda ka dun sa mas bata. So, those are the things, those are the factors that made me start Phil Basket. And I'm very happy with where we are right now.
Nice. Thank you, Jai.
Oo. Alam mo kinukuwento ni Jai yung mga training and yung mga aging. Naalala ko tuloy, and I think this applies not just for athletes, but even mga mentors or me as a parent 'no, this is something I struggle with. And this question is for you, Ken. Where do parents and coaches and trainers and athletes draw the line between healthy stress or the pressure, the motivation to push yourself to do better versus something that's unhealthy already? Tipong it's really bad for your mental health already. Where do you say tama na 'to or kaya ko pa?
I think as an athlete, uh, hindi naman ako ganun ka, professional tulad ni Jai, but in high school, I was also an athlete. So to some extent na experience ko din 'yun. But siguro in this particular context, no, when we talk about coaches, when we talk about parents, yung parang behind the scenes people of the athlete themselves, yung parang support system ng athletes, I think kapag nakita na nila na it's already negatively affecting their performance. Kasi that's already one thing to consider. No, I mean, of course, we have to be observant no of the performance kasi yun talaga yung pinaka metric, 'di ba? As an athlete, you're supposed to perform, you're expected to perform. And then at a certain point, where can I draw the line as an athlete? Of course, as an athlete, sometimes you don't want to give in. Kasi it might be seen as a weakness na parang you're letting
Correct.
the
Correct.
pressure of other people, you're letting the pressure of being an athlete get to you and it's affecting your performance negatively. So syempre as an athlete, there has to also come a point where you have to know when enough is enough. No, where that line is depends on the athlete. Kasi of course not everyone can handle the stress. Everyone handles their stress differently. Parang we cannot get rid of stress in our life. And especially
Right.
athletes, they're I would consider athletes to be siguro higher risk individuals kasi they are themselves performers, and
Mm.
because of the stress, because of the pressure, there is a higher likelihood that they may succumb to this pressure, this supposed weakness, which in itself should not be seen as a weakness. No, as an athlete, sometimes you also have to admit that you cannot do everything. You cannot score every goal. You cannot be the one man in the team who does everything. There also has to come a point where you need to reach out to your own support system. And syempre, like I mentioned earlier, it depends on the athlete. Um, everyone's personality is different. So as an athlete, you have this kind of personality that you have on the court, But of course, behind the scenes, when you're not playing, you are yourself an individual, unique person. So everyone's personality outside of sports may play a role in their ability to handle pressure, to bring that level of resilience and grit into the sport itself.
May follow-up question ako, Ken, and maybe Jai, you can input from your own experience. You were talking about pressure. Minsan, the pressure does not come from the athletes or not even from the coach. It comes from the fans. The fans do expect you to score every goal. The fans expect you to shoot that game-winning three-pointer. So, ano ang reaction dapat ng athlete pag sasabihin ng fans, "Wag kang magrereklamo, ginusto mo 'yan. Ginusto mo maging athlete, sumali ka sa varsity team, parang you have no right to complain." Sige,
Ako
Ken
muna.
first.
Um, siguro in this particular context, I'll just give an example siguro from the mental health point of view. No, that we shouldn't actively be looking for the validation of other people, but when you're expected to perform, there are certain things that really hit you na parang tamaan ako dyan. Parang pag narinig mo yung salita na yan or pag certain, phrases or some things like that of that nature, minsan na parang nagigigil tayo, 'di ba? But of course, going back to it from a mental health point of view, as an athlete, I think in what I've seen in the student athletes that I've interacted with, having stronger self confidence and at least a higher self esteem or better self esteem can actually help, kind of block out those things that people say that you're expected to do this and you're expected to do that and to perform the best all the time. Dapat MVP ka lagi. But you yourself know what your own capabilities are. You're the only person who really needs to tell, to say to yourself na I can do this. No, I can do this. Barring what other people say, syempre, most sports do in fact have a lot of a big fan base, 'di ba, of people who will always be naysayers. And of course, the fans don't really know who the athlete is themselves. Kasi syempre, it's the athlete who is supposed to perform. So whatever the fans would say, you as an athlete or the athletes that I've worked with, kung mas kilala nilang sarili nila at kung sino talaga sila, they have a higher likelihood to be able to block out that quote unquote noise.
Yeah, so
That's
Jai,
true.
in
What?
your
Yeah,
case.
sorry. Yeah, what Ken said is very true. First of all, for all the athletes out there, if you choose to be an athlete, pinili mo yan to be in the eye of other people. That's part of the job. So going into that, I wish I knew this when I was younger because growing up, just wanted to play. You love the sport, you love representing your school or a city. Um, but when you reach a certain level, it's part of your job to be because without the fans, the league won't be there, the athletes won't be there. In a way, the fans are our bosses, quote unquote, because if they're there, you're there. The league gets better, everything is better for the industry. But I guess my most memorable experience with fans was back when I was with Ateneo, wherein pati yung sariling community, kinakalaban ka kapag natatalo kayo. I've had experiences from um, high government ranking officials from our own school cursing us out. Like,
Wow.
the person would be 2 or 3 rows behind my family. They don't care. They really don't care. Sometimes for the fans, you're an object. And when you represent them, you can't fail because they feel like some fans feel like um, they're part of you, and then when you fail, they also fail. So, ang daming mura maririnig mo saying things that are personal already, pagkakalaban naman. But Ken is correct. If you're sure about yourself, you're sure about your practice, you're sure about your hard work, just block all that out. Pero katulad ng sabi ninyo, sometimes talagang meron tumatagos dyan na masasakit talaga. especially if it's from people who are you didn't expect that would say that. Some people I've experienced na kala ko, well, I mean, sometimes relatives pa saying that they can't reach the next level, etc., etc. So it became normal to me growing up. It became normal to me. People in school looking at you as if, uh, pangit ng laro nito kagabi or bano naman ito. Diba? I mean, ano ni, kasama na sa kultura talaga. And if you know how to make that your motivation and your strength, you're gonna be a better player. So it has pros and cons, and if you use it to your advantage, it's really really powerful.
Okay, I think very ano no, grabe talaga yung parang I guess the individual strength, and that's why I think it's so important when we have all different kinds of athletes, diba, going through all of these things and us as people. So meron tayong parang like Jai, maybe because of the support of your you mentioned ano relatives, diba, na parang sometimes there are relatives na okay yung support, may ibang relatives hindi okay yung support. So sa mga okay yung support, I think you since you also mentioned earlier that you came from a basketball family, your uncle is the famous shot Reyes. I do admire him from a distance because he doesn't know me. But how parang using your parang diba yun you were privileged enough in a way that meron kang support system. How about like parang the rest of your athletes in Filbasket? Were you able to parang use your I guess your position as a founder of Filbasket to change the conversation on mental health among the athletes or maybe even the supporters? Like is that something that you initiated?
First of all, I think from my position right now, athletes are really gonna make a conversation and talk about that. I'm having problems mentally, but our approach with Phil Basket is that we want our athletes to understand why we're here. That this league is for them. We want to build it in such a way na for the future they can rely on it. Na hindi lang nagpaliga dahil lang may election ngayon, pagkatapos nun tapos na. That's how we try to make our athletes understand, our players understand. So that they have a better state of mind, kumbaga, in playing for Phil Basket. But yeah, this is something that we want to integrate with Filbasket, with the help, of course, of MindNation, to make it an open conversation. You know, being an athlete is such a short career, such a short time frame. If you're dealing with something, you have to address it. If you want
Yeah,
to prolong your career, address it, and you might be
correct, correct.
surprised of how much it can help you. Not a lot of people know this, but when we were winning championships in the UAP and Ateneo, five straight, we did have a sports psychologist. We weren't required; we were encouraged to do so by Coach Norman and by Ateneo. So, just those sessions with our sports psychologist, kahit na pinapatulog lang kami just in a way for relaxing dahil na kikita nila na stressed out na kami. Like big games are coming, to the point na minsan it affects us negatively, just like what Ken said. So it's really a powerful tool for athletes, especially when you visualize things. Parang nadaanan mo na eh. So it's nothing new for you. And then learning about rest, because sometimes athletes it's just hard work, hard work, hard work. How many hours am I spending in the gym? Yun pala, you're burning your candle already. Negative na yung effect. Sobra na, in other
Correct,
words.
correct, correct,
So just
correct.
learning, how to step back, and you're not gonna be the best player in one day. Just understanding that resting, coming back the next day, resting again, coming back the next day. Just understanding that you're building brick by brick. That's a big thing then for athletes mentally.
Yeah, and not just for athletes, no. I love that. I think everyone deserves to rest, and everyone should really appreciate that when you rest, you're not being lazy, you're not being weak, that but rest is really productive and it really contributes to your overall health. See, Ken, anything you want to add to what Jai said?
I really just want to highlight yung sinabi ni Jai. Um, I'm very much glad that Ateneo did not, force you. And it's very much encouraged that, you should see your sports psychologist. Buti na lang at the time, there are still sports psychologists, no? Parang ilan lang yung totoong
Yeah.
sports psychologist sa
I
Pilipinas and
think
even
back
around the
then,
world.
Ken, 2008 pa yun. I think sobrang bago yung idea ng sports psychology
Sports
talaga,
psychology.
especially in the Philippines.
Oh, super,
So, yeah.
super.
Yeah, it
Also,
was good
gusto
for
ko
us.
din i-highlight kay Jai, yung sinabi niya na rest is so important kasi, of course, as a practitioner of psychology, there are many factors in our life that we often overlook. And rest is one thing that everyone does, but not everyone gets enough rest. Of course, diba, doctors will always say, get
Yeah,
7 to 8 hours of sleep on a daily basis. Pero sa totoo lang, who monitors that all the time na every day, kailangan 7 to 8 hours. Especially kapag athlete ka, sabi ni Jai din, just kind of building on, it's a lot of hard work. Parang a lot of your life is structured. Kapag
yeah,
athlete ka, you have to wake up at this time kasi magte-training kayo. And then if you're a student athlete, after training, ligo lang ng konti, tas pasok kayo agad. And then right after class, balik sa training. So there's a lot of structure in athletic life, and it's a really short time, no, to really put yourself under pressure. Sabi nga ni Jai, gusto mo yan. It eventually becomes a part of, parang nasanay ka na. Masasanay ka rin. Eventually to some extent, masasanay ka rin. So, yun ko lang gustong i-highlight sa sinabi ni Jai kanina.
Yeah. And I think Jai, we do have a question for you. Sabi ni
May
Marlon.
fan.
Any updates? May fan tayo. Any updates sa
uh,
Filbasket once the opening?
yeah. We're trying to create a tournament right now. What we want to what we want to do is invite more international teams to fill basket because we want our athletes to get more used to or mas masanay sila sa competition outside because the leagues here inside the Philippines solid na talaga sila, but uh, playing against other countries in Southeast Asia, that's our priority right now. We are trying to come up with a tournament for this year before the end of the year. So hopefully, abangan yan. We will be announcing soon, hopefully, pagka all the plans are set already. So hopefully, for all our fans, they keep on watching Phil Basket. We're going to try to bring you some things new, including MindNation. Hopefully, MindNation can be very visible as partners in Phil Basket. And to our idol, Plong, shout out. One of the best branding people out there. He made our whole brand guide. So thank you very much, Plong. Salamat nanonood ka.
So, ayan. So, also to our viewers today, so I hope you guys got a bit of a snapshot of what's happening to the athletes, diba, in terms of our mind, body, or parang also our openness to get support professionally with the different kinds of the psychologists. Like I think 2008, wala pa masyadong conversation on going to psychologists. But I think right now, 2022, parang it's becoming a bit more normal that we talk about it. And I think this is really part of our advocacy here in BDJ's studio and Mind Nation. That's why we're doing this every month because we just want everyone, so athlete, non-athlete, all of us going through our different unique challenges to be able to go and reach out and get some support. So, but before we go, kasi malapit na tayo mag-end, maybe we can have like some final words of wisdom from Jai and then Ken.
Yeah, thank you very much for supporting Mind Nation and of course Still Basket. Hopefully keep tuning in. Taking care of your mind. I wish I knew about this earlier, but right now that I do know about it, I'm very, very happy. It's a welcome addition to my life. it helps me balance the stresses in my life. And stress is not bad. It's actually good. It's what makes you stronger. Even in workouts, yeah, if you want to get bigger muscles, you have to stress your body out. So that's how it is with the mind also. With sleep also and rest. Don't think if you're lying down, you're already resting. If you're lying down with your phone glued to your face, it's actually getting you tired even more. So hopefully everybody gets some good sleep out there, especially in the age of work from home. Wala nang rest ngayon eh. Talagang 24/7 trabaho na. And most of the time, especially in my life, and I'm sure a lot of people do this also, the last thing that we allocate time for is rest. Because we think that, sometimes it's a form of weakness. But you're actually going to do more things if you prioritize rest first. So you have more energy throughout the day, your mind is clearer, you don't feel like you're drowning and you don't do anything. Um, so yeah, for all our athletes, keep your mind in check because this is the secret weapon, to be honest, in unlocking a higher level of performance. So thank you very much, Dar, Jack, and Ken for sharing your thoughts. Also, I learned a lot, and hopefully I can uh, integrate this with my everyday life. Thank you.
Thank you, Jai. How about you, Ken? Any final words?
Siguro I just wanna limit my final words to a few major points. Siguro for all the athletes who are out there. Um, Identifying your stressors is one of the things that I would absolutely advocate for. Knowing what stresses you out, trying to figure out how to either work with it or avoid it can work wonders for you being able to perform better. Of course, one of the biggest things that I want to promote is to strengthen your support system. No, sabi nga ni Jai, he was very lucky to have people who supported him. And I think with, Jai, other athletes may see that as an example. No, Jai is already leading by example and creating this parang culture of, why not let's do it ourselves. No, let's try to talk about mental health amongst athletes. No, if there are athletes out there who really want to promote mental health, then talk about it with your fellow athletes. No, baka you have similar experiences that you could bring up to maybe your coach or another professional who can help you with that. At saka one of the last things that I want to highlight is kami, mga mental health professionals, we're just a click, a call, a text away if you need us. No, we're not here to force our services on you, but our doors are always open because of course we want what's best for everyone to take care of your mental health and to help promote mental health and good well-being. Shout out din sa mentor ko and sa advisor ko, Dr. Karen Trinidad. She's the one who is highlighted by Heidelin. She's basically the sports psychologist who put sports psychology on the map in the Philippines, no, because of Heidelin. So, siya yung sports psychologist ni Heidelin. So, shout out, Ma'am Karen, who is also not physically present kasi she also has COVID. So, get well soon,
Oh
Doc Karen.
no. Yeah, get well soon.
Yes, grabe ngayon. Parang COVID is really just part of our lives. So, thank you, Jai, thank you, Ken, for joining us for tonight, and then like sharing all your insights about mental health and sharing with us, of course, your personal journeys. And I'm sure lahat, like all the viewers who are watching us today, and even yung mga ano natin, um, viewers na pahabol yung I forgot our team parang playback ba yun or something we call our the people. So but I let me thank everyone for joining us again for tonight. And again, it's our mental health check-in end of the month, and we'll definitely see you end of the month again. But before that, go Jack. Do you want to share
Yes.
more? Remind everyone about the support they can get from MindNation.
Yes, lots of exciting things happening with MindNation. So first of all, thank you, Jai. Thank you, Ken. Such an honor to have this conversation with very progressive young men, sa totoo lang. Because when it comes to men, honestly, and mental health, it's really a tough conversation to break into. But tonight's conversation has really been so fulfilling for me as a mental health advocate. And I just want to add, guys, Remember that Mind Nation is always here for you. If you need someone to talk to, our psychologists, our well-being coaches are available 24/7 for teletherapy sessions. And even better, kung napansin ninyo ang video at the start of this live stream, we are also now literally in your pockets because we now have the Mind Nation app. The Mind Nation app is available for download on Google Play and the App Store. It's free to download. So now you can just buy and book your sessions with our mental health experts with just a few clicks. You can take our assessment quizzes if you want to check in on yourself. You have access to MindEd, our library of free audio, video, and printable resources that you can access anytime if you want to enjoy or improve your well-being. And itong mga nabanggit ko, these are just the free basic services that you can get from the app. If you want to get more, pwede rin. We have 24/7 chat with a well-being coach and the 21-day micro steps program, which you can avail of if you subscribe to the premium app package for only 2,490 pesos for 12 months. And if you do that between now and the end of October, if you subscribe to premium for 12 months, you actually get 3 free one-on-one sessions with a Mind Nation well-being coach. So lots of exciting stuff happening. Please go to mindnation.com/app to download the Mind Nation app today.
Ayan. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for sharing this very great app from My Nation so that people can access all the free resources and the be able to get some support for their mental health. So, guys, thank you for catching us this last Wednesday of the night. Last Wednesday of the month. Team replay. So, wag natin kalimutan yung mga team replay. So, everyone watching us tonight, please, if you feel like everything that we talked about or some parts that we talked about would be relevant to your family or friends, please do share this with them because we want to be able to help and reach more people. And my last plug for tonight, don't forget, last day tomorrow are Dare to Dream kits with the BDJ Studio. Kasi sabi nga natin yung nangyari sa pandemic, nahirapan na tayong mangarap, naging survival mode na tayo. But in 2022, this time, we want to make a restart. We want to be able to dare to dream again. So please do check it out at go.ilovebdj.com, Dare to Dream Kids. And with that, thank you guys. Thank you, Jack, for being my partner tonight. Thank you, Jai and Ken. And thank you, everyone. Good night.